The Crooked Epic. 1. Inn. 1. The Inn of Maniacal Madness. 3. Ted. The Lake. 3B. 1. 10-year-old Ted had potentially witnessed his friend's unbelievable attempted murder. The exchange of information at the crossroads was ominous. As Alex and Ted went deeper south into the woods behind the house, the sky above was growing cloudier and the air thickened in a darkened warm front of air which blew on oncoming thunderstorms in their direction fast. Ted pondered the perplexing viability of his incrimination against the possibilities of exoneration through retrieval of evidence. Along the tree line of the homestead, Ted found himself moved toward unshared knowledge and the powerful force of a mysterious unknown. While Ted was leading the way past the barn, they glimpsed the black car the agents had driven into the driveway. Alex stopped briefly to hover low in the bushes and stare at the vehicle and jump back into motion behind Ted. They both heard the slamming of the side door of the house, and they crept lower into a hidden valley between small hills and tree trunks, deep past the layers of tall grasses which extinguished their faces from the yard but held their camouflaged viewability in piercing focus through their intended stealth. The dynamics of the childhood games of tag and hide and seek were reborn of this moment as they were unseen and undetected, free to listen as long as they remained quiet. The agents were both tall men in suits with black hair. Their features were indistinct at the distance, but one had sunglasses on and the other held a clipboard in his hand, standing behind and off the stoop. "Thank you, Marshal. Phone us over at the branch if you hear from the boys." The man in the dark suit and sunglasses talked to their father while his nearly identically adorned partner waited off the stoop. "Thank you, Agent Esposito. I know we certainly will." They heard their father's voice. His words were cooperative, yet it remained undisclosed if his tone betrayed unspoken emotion or if he would genuinely remain protective of them. After Ted's horror at the lake, the identical face of the boy attacker and the swarming bat phenomenon, he was intuitively drawn to him for comfort, yet repelled by unnatural fear. After another moment, they heard the doors of their car open. "Hey, Gabe, it may be a good idea to drive down to the lake path. We should probably look around before heading back to the Murphy house." The two brothers leaned forward and watched as the car pulled out of the driveway. The side of their house closed shut, and just as the car's engine faded down the road, the quiet lull was replaced with an auspicious high wind, light rain, and distant thundering. While they found a way through the woods to the foot of the big hill behind the house, the drizzling rain got worse, and the thunder began cracking above their heads and all around the forest's giant trees. The hard rain became a downpour as they scrambled up the muddy and rocky side of the hill, retracing his steps from the day before. Alex was courageously trudging behind Ted, and Ted realized the probability of their motives being entirely different yet complementary to each other. Alex's mind seemed likely to set on protecting Ted from the investigating agents and the insane child at the lake, while Ted thought only that the refuge of the hidden cave dwelling may hold answers as well as possible risks for both. As they trampled up and onto the crest of the hill, Ted remembered the one other piece of missing information from Alex's itinerary, the golden amulet that Ted had found in the barn. Gripping it in his pocket, he refreshed his realization about the abstract diamond shape and wondered about its true origin. Whether it belonged to the stalker or the father's property, or if it was an alien talisman or clue to the cave, Ted imagined he could show it to Alex once they reached shelter from the rainstorm. At first, Ted could not easily find the cave and began reeling in fear from the possibility that he had gotten lost on the hills the previous night. His excitement raised his worry, and the search became more frantic. Alex continued to follow behind while Ted's desperation in the rain was peripherally hidden by the sound of falling drops of water through the trees and against the ground, and from blowing winds which seized into his chest. Finally, after adjusting his path below the summit and southward, Ted saw the giant sycamores which stood next to each other on the hill. Pointing his arm out and running faster, he yelled back to Alex. There, the sycamores. The cave under that hemlock tree. They crawled up over the roots into the rocky cave inside. The rain, pelting the rocks around and rolling over the mouth of the cave, made the opening appear to have the form of the inside of a waterfall. Alex and Ted leaned on either side against the dirt walls of the entrance. I've never seen this before, have you? Alex pushed off the side of the cave wall with his hand and looked deeper into the crystal-covered tunnel. Yesterday, before I came home, when Dad pulled into the driveway, I looked over at Father's tool shed. I saw footprints that led into the woods, and I heard a dog barking. I saw the dog from last summer, Al. I followed him up the hill, but an old man started chasing me. I ran into this cave to hide, but he followed me. There was something weird at the end of this cave, Alex. Something is back there. People, too. Ted made his tone as dubious as he could muster. I got away from the man somehow in the dark. The dog got away too back here. But when I came back to the house, I saw Dad's car in the driveway. So I went back and looked in the barn. I found this. Alex looked at the talisman as Ted held it up. It was golden on the clasp, and the partially buried heart inside looked like a dark diamond with intricate carvings and spiral engravings. Although Ted felt incremental relief with the satisfaction that Alex's nod of understanding gave him, he could sense how somehow Alex had something he now wanted to share. Alex leaned off the wall and his hand swung back against it as an urgent look crossed his face with a comprehensive alert yet anticipation during Ted's explanation. Listen, Teddy, we have to go back home. Those two guys back at our house, they're like police officers. They're FBI agents. They're like our father. They probably will find us anyway, and Dad is going to worry about us. Also, I wonder why you didn't tell our father. All right, Al, but come with me to the back of this cave. We can look together while it's still raining. It's safer to stay together, Alex. I'm not going to try to stop you, Ted. If you must look at something in the cave, I'll wait here, but not for long. But if anyone comes looking for us, I will have to tell them where you went. I don't really have a choice. I'll give you 5 minutes and I'll come to get you. If I can't find you, I'm going to have to get help immediately as soon as I can. You say there was an old man up here, and that makes me nervous about all this. Ted's chance to convince Alex was over, but something in Ted's heart told him there was only more trouble at the house now. Ted was possessed by a precocious notion that he might never have another opportunity again to look in the cave. So, compelled to try to change Al's mind, Ted bravely walked out to the mouth of the cave and looked down the hill through the heavy rain. Any attempt he made now would be a waste of time, and Ted decided that the less he said to him, the better. Al looked at Ted with worry buried deep in his eyes, and Ted walked past down into the tunnels beyond. Deeper into the cave, Ted realized he was leaving Alex in danger. The assailant at the lake, who looked exactly like him, the stalker in the woods from the day before, and the ultimate uncertainty of the exact mission which the FBI agents were leading. The reasons were numerous to be distrustful of so many, and yet there would be just Alex to judge alone on his own. Paranoia began to sink Ted's gait around the pillars and halls of the cave, and he drudged through the underground with qualm. Eventually he began to feel lost, like he may have made a wrong turn while distracted by subconsciousness. The time slipped away, and 5 minutes were already gone when he heard Alex's voice cry out and echo through the dirt walls and rocks. There was no way to see back the way he had come, so he shouted, "Hey!" He hoped Alex would be able to find him or respond. Alex eventually yelled back to Ted and returned his call, and then blindly groped through the dim darkness behind him toward his location. Alex's slow and faint footsteps finally became audible, and Ted shouted once more before waiting motionless for him in the cold. "Teddy, come this way." Alex's hand grabbed Ted's arm and led him through the cave, around a corner and down further. "I saw the light down here after I came looking for you. This may sound like we're both mad, Ted, but I was waiting at the cave opening when I heard those FBI agents shouting down the hill. I was going to go wave them over when I looked out of the cave. I saw that kid who looked just like you a little way down. That weird kid was hobbling and limping up the hill, coming closer than the agents, but with different clothes than you have on now, Ted. So I crept up closer, and I could see it wasn't you, and he was bleeding, Ted, like the other kid you saw might have been recently shot.